Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on January 5th, 2025 at approximately 9 p.m. PST. Now, I have made it my life's journey, my life's goal, if you will, life's mission. That's what I mean. And we know how that works. There we go. I've made it my life's mission to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the same tools I personally use in my day to day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies that guide virtually every movement I make. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me and have worked for literally thousands of other people over the years. Now, tonight we are going to get into the Akashic Records, how they came to be. What are they? What are they for? Who's got access to them? All of that. But before we open that door, let me just scroll right back to the top here. And we have Storm in the background handling our tech support. So if we do have a problem, he's right there to handle it. Okay. He is also one of my primary moderators. With this in mind, he knocks out problems before they become problems. This is how we know if somebody comes in, if you're a problem child, even if you change your name and come in as a problem child, you can bet Storm is going to find you and you're going to find yourself on the outside looking in. Still able to hear, to listen, from what I gather, just not able to participate. So, bearing in mind this is we are striving to make this a friendly venue for everybody. Play by the rules will be fine. Just check the top of the chat stream and that'll tell you those. Now, scroll down a bit here and we have Tim James came in with the gold. Now, Tim, I hope you're still in. I know you can't stick around for long tonight, but thanks so much for your support. LA Moon is in, and she is another one of our primary moderators. She's actually the one that really keeps an eye on my own physical health. So, in answer to that, LA, yes, I did have dinner, dessert, snack, got water, ran out of coffee today, but I'm doing good. Neat part about it is I'm actually not oversleeping anymore. And let's scroll down just a little. We have Rachel in with the silver. How you doing, Rachel Andrews? Glad you could join us. You know, things are going to get hectic this year. So what I'm looking for is to give everybody a kickstart to get back on their feet, put the past behind you, figure out how to move forward. Okay, that's what we're aiming for. Now, why, if I'm doing that, why go into the Akashic Records? Well, people around the world look at the Akashic Records and they keep referring to them. So I figure I might as well open the door because I don't think we've ever covered this before. When this rendition of reality, and I'm not talking this Big Bang, I mean the third dimension. I've talked about there being 12 dimensions. Okay. About there being 12 dimensions, not 155,712, just 12. Okay. Each one is a dimension unto itself. But when the doorway was opened to actually let that come through, now let's just double check before I do that. Oh, Philip, you are in with. Yeah, Philip, you are in with the bronze. And Philip goes, first rule of our Keith Andrews Club. Don't talk about our Keith Andrews Club. No, not quite the first rule, but I appreciate the thought. In all fairness, we really do have to spread the word. Now, I just did the calculation before we came on air. We have 650 subscribers, but many of the videos are getting between 50 and 70 views after the fact. Okay, what this means is we are reaching per video about 45,000 people. We are making a difference. Okay, and I'll tell you, that took a long time to sink in. But the Akashic Records, when the gateway was first opened, now I'm not going off on a fully, if you will, religious bend for you, but I will tell you this before anybody jumps down the wrong wagon here. Yes, I am a firm believer in God and in Christ. By that definition, am I Christian? Certainly. Do I think that being Christian is better than being Buddhist or Sikh or Muslim? Not a snowball's prayer. Okay. From my standpoint, call it what you will, but there's 3 laws. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. Now, when this rendition of reality opened up, okay, it was set up where we're in the 3rd dimension. And before anybody jumps on that, 3rd dimension is everything you can pick up here. Physical, non-corporeal, elemental. If you can see it, if you can sense it, if you can feel it, it's in the 3rd dimension. Now, I'm not going to get into that for very far, but there was one species that came through and manifested very quickly, okay, called the Zerziks. This is one of the few species that literally will survive the Big Bang. I do appreciate that there, Philip. Phil's just saying I've recommended the channel to a few people. The Zerziks will survive the transition from one rendition to the next, always in the 3rd dimension. But what they do is they simply go around, they control the information flow. Okay, they turn around and watch the information coming in, make sure it goes where it is required, and they record everything. Every single one of you has access to your Akashic record. And by the way, your Akashic record does not just relate to this lifetime. It relates to every lifetime you've ever had. It does not relate to every lifetime you ever will have because those haven't been recorded yet. Blue, how you doing? Blue Cruz got in. And you are here with honorable mention there, Blue. Glad you can make it. Now, the Akashic Records record everything you've done. And I don't mean everything you as a person this lifetime have done. Okay? Think of it when we take a look at past lives. Take a look at this issue. Your physical body is just a vehicle. Now, just like a car, if you're going, if you're driving along, your car will sooner or later break down. Ferret, how you doing? Glad you could make it. When that happens, your body dies, you get out of your body, you wander around for a little bit. This is where we go back to the hub, start sorting things out, and pick your next vehicle. It's kind of like car shopping. Pick a new vehicle, but when you get a new vehicle, you don't forget everything you did in the last one. Okay, well, more to the point, it isn't forgotten. It's stored in the Akashic Records because the corporeal brain does not have enough room in it to contain everything going on. I mean, heck, half the time I look at the corporeal brain of people and go, how, pray tell, did you actually live until you were that age? Yeah, Philip, we will get to that today. Okay, stay now. I'm not going to do it just yet, but I will get to how to access your Akashic Records. Okay, now understand, everybody's got free access. Okay, you all have free access to your own records. Some people have actually figured out how to tap into or how to gain access to other people's Akashic Records with permission from the other individual. But here's the kicker. It's dicey doing that, not because it's dangerous, but because in order to pull the information together, most Akashic Record accessors run into a problem. They start going, this is what you remember, what you were doing. You were this type of person. You looked like this, as in you had brown hair, you had green eyes, and you had a horn growing out of the middle of your forehead. Okay, this is what they're telling you. The Akashic Records, Ferret, yes, literally every single individual has an Akashic Record of their own. This is a massive amount of information. It covers every lifetime you've ever had. Okay, but when you're reaching into it, so I'm going to give you that method. Now you got to remember, accessing the Akashic Records to start with, you're likely in all probability to think you're imagining things. Okay, but here's how to access the Akashic Records. And it's actually kind of similar to learning how to astral travel. Philip, you may have a problem. Philip goes, nice. I'd like to get permission from Michelangelo to access his. Here's the problem. In order to get permission from somebody to access their Akashic Records, first thing you got to do, find that person alive in the third dimension this lifetime, and then get their permission. So if you can figure out who Michelangelo is, he was a great artist at that time. He could be living life this lifetime as a pauper on the street. Okay, but find a comfortable place when you're wide awake. Okay, sit down. This idea of get into the lotus position, as in cross your feet over top of themselves, and in my case, dislocate both knees. I don't know how that became comfortable, but find a relaxing place to sit. Put yourself on a recliner on the chair. Put your feet up and literally concentrate on your heartbeat. Feel your heartbeat. Well, if it ain't consolation, Philip, I have no idea how to find him. Philip Blair was just saying, I have no idea how to find Michelangelo. I could suggest looking in the sewers. That's where Raphael and Leonardo da Vinci are hiding. But when you sit down on a chair, get into a relaxed feel. Okay, into a relaxed position. Concentrate and feel your heartbeat, not by putting your hand on your throat or on your wrist. Just sitting there. Now, once you get feeling your heartbeat, you'll feel the rhythm. Track it out as far as you can get it. While you're doing that, all along, concentrate on accessing the Akashic Records. Okay? And literally tell yourself, I am now remembering a past life. Don't worry about which one. Okay? Keep a note handy so you can actually make notes. It feels like I had this kind of life. Make the notes. Okay? Now, here's where it gets tricky. You make the notes and write down everything you can. Okay? Once you've written it all down, now talk to people about that particular issue. And rest assured, most of you will not have been King Henry VIII, Leonardo da Vinci. You won't have been, Beethoven. It just doesn't happen that way. One person was Michelangelo. One person was Mary, Queen of Scots. Most of your past lives are likely going to be, like one of mine was, a fisherman. Or maybe you were a slave. Maybe you were a peasant. Not everybody. Cowie, how you doing? Happy New Year to you as well. It is right now 9:15 p.m. Thanks for that there, Ferret. So most of your past lives are not going to be anything spectacular. Okay. Although I will tell you, my lifetime as a fisherman was one of the happiest ones I had until the end of it. That resulted in a bit of a mess. Now, the Akashic Records hold everything. And when you start looking at them, okay, I gotta ask, Callie, is it 7:15 a.m. or p.m.? Just a curiosity thing on my part. But Akashic Records hold everything. And when you start putting them together, when you start putting your lives together, all of a sudden you start finding patterns. What I found by looking at mine is most of the time I have a problem following the adjusted rules. It's like, here's the laws we have to have. Cowie, I'm guessing that you're on the 6th then. No, maybe not. That's okay. I'll worry about that later. Anyway, when you start looking at past lives, you're going to find all the information in the Akashic Records, what you were doing, and yes, you can actually remember old skills. If you used to be able to fly a plane, once you start accessing the Akashic Records and start bringing that information to the foreground, you can certainly start remembering things and remembering old skills, old talents you used to have. In all fairness, you won't find many enemies covering over from one lifetime to the next. Situations, certainly. One of the solid qualities I've always had. Okay. One of the solid qualities I've had through most of my lifetimes has been literally, I've gone out of my way to help people. This lifetime seems to have backfired in a lot of ways, and I'm not getting into that right now. But the Zerziks are the race that handles it. Now, once in a while, what will happen is you'll get access. You can talk to them if you know the person. If you know, for instance, not Michelangelo. Okay. But just to give you a heads up, and it's a waste of time, so I won't recommend doing this. But you could, in theory, ask one of the attending Zerziks if they would be kind enough to let you access my Akashic Records. Now, I'm telling you, a lot of people have tried hacking it. Okay, and yes, I use the term hacking for a reason. Usually that's right, Ferret. And in all fairness, I've talked to a lot of people. I've run into very few that were actually a truly famous person. I ran into in 1 year. I ran into 3 different Jesus or Yeshua returned. Now they always call themselves, I'm Jesus. I was Jesus in a past life. Jesus was never Jesus, which is a really cute thought. Now what are we looking at here? The sad part of it is very few people are really famous. I mean, think about it. You're watching this video. How many people do you know that are truly famous? And better yet, we'll still talk to you. You know, I've met people that were not famous, became famous, and just cut communication. I have no idea why, because I can't get an answer out of any of them. But why are the Akashic Records there? Well, that's the easy part. When what you would call God opened the doors, or more to the point, what I call God. What you call God seems to be limited in a lot of ways. But when God opened the doors and released everything out there, and do not kid yourself, I am absolutely certain that God created everyone. But do understand, he didn't create everyone directly. He opened the door, set the dimensions in place, and did the one thing that nobody was expecting him to do. Glad you could join us there, Operation. Okay, he gave every single one of you free will and free choice. What he gave nobody was freedom from consequence. Oh, there we go. Philip goes, I know a guy who knows a lady whose husband is famous. There is a rule of 6 degrees of separation, which means you know somebody, they know somebody, 6 down the road, that person is somebody else on the planet. Ferret, the Akashic Records are not what you would call physical. They are built on a subquantum plane. Okay, tiny little things. Technically, they have a physical form. Okay, but it's not like you walk into a book and actually into a library and actually open up books. Although, and here's where it gets funny. Okay, you go into the Akashic Records and they're set up the way that you see them. If you see the Akashic Records in your mind as a series of actual books covering all of your lifetimes, then that's what shows up. If you see it as microfiche, that's what shows up. Okay, mine show up in a very different fashion. But all of us have the same options. You can get there, but they are there because as the Akashic Records get filled, and new data gets put in, and this is what the Zerziks are doing. They take that little experience. Oh, you're a little munchkin and you spilled ice cream on your shirt. So we're going to record that, put it in your Akashic Records. It will immediately back up in God's house. Okay. What God has done is he opened the door. All of you are, when the saying goes, God is in everyone. Okay. It's because God created everybody to be able to gather all the information. As the information is recorded in your Akashic Records, it gets shipped back to what some people have called the Great Hub. Okay, the Zerziks are the ones that actually set the whole thing up and went, okay, this is the main hub. There's little hubs over there. Picture, if you will, a massive network. Now, it's already been explained decades ago. Well, that's a funny thing, Mary Ferret. Ferret goes, uh-oh, I can't get away with mischief. God created mischief. He created it so you could have fun. You just have to remember 3 laws. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. Okay. As long as what you're doing is not intentionally hurting or stopping somebody from enjoying their life, okay, then what happens is you're free to go. But this is why I say, go back to the records, find out what you were capable of, and let's work together to turn this life back around, to turn this society back around. The reality is relying on somebody else to come and do it is not going to work as well as you'd like. And we just have Woo Rider just got through the door. How you doing, Woo? You know, the nice part about it is we have the capacity. Okay, this is not in God's hand. It's not in the church's hand. It's not in the so-called elites. It's in your hand. Now, you'll notice around the office here that I've started clearing stuff out of the way. Okay, clutter is going to cause a problem. You know, now the neat little part about it is when we start looking at making changes to your life, everything is connected. And yes, some of you will know somebody. If you ever run into somebody that you just know you remember them from somewhere else, okay, quite often it's because the Akashic Records are so well interlinked. You're going in, accessing yours, and you find this reference point. Oh, there's this chap. He's reincarnated. He was really best friends with you centuries back, but he showed up. Now, the nice part about it, I just keep an eye on the chat room here. Yes, my moderators take care of that. They really do. Because we had a problem a while back that backfired. But the one thing I will warn people about quite readily is I spent a lot of time debating whether to continue this or not. Now, I doubt Joe is in the area. I got an email from Joe Stewart. Okay, and if you're listening to this afterwards, I am looking at going back on air on a regular basis earlier in the evening. Okay, because I know there's a lot of work to be done. You know, the nice little part about it, when I take a look at things, okay, there are a lot of problem children for some reason, and this gets recorded in the Akashic Records. This is why I take a look at people and go, okay, I've been being really lenient about it, and that caused me a heart attack a while back. Okay, that is why Storm and LA stepped into the picture, at least from what I gather. I'm not interested in another stroke. Okay, but I am interested in pointing out how we can actually turn this world around in spite of what the so-called leaders are doing. Okay, I don't know about you, but the way I figured it, heck, I don't know about me, but the way I figure it is this. I used to, centuries back, like we're talking actually in all fairness, millennia back. That's not a big enough number. Okay, but I used to work the mailroom. Okay, I was a Zertix for a while. And it's very simple there. Information comes in, you pick it up from here, you put it over there, it goes off again. One of these days, if I ever get my artwork and my own ability to draw working, I'll lay it out. One day I'll actually bring the picture up and go, here's what it looks like. Do not ask me to do that right now. Okay, but the Akashic Records themselves are the information that gets stored, okay, that gets amassed from all of the sources to make a solid record of this reality. Okay, and I don't mean just this rendition of the Big Bang. Okay, I'm referring to this dimension on this opening. Now, all of this gets collected, and as it gets stored in what I've come to understand as the Great Hub, once it all gets put there, then you've got a complete picture. Once all the data is done, then what ends up happening is they take all 12 dimensions, fold them all up, put them on another shelf, and now we start all over again. This is an ongoing process, but you have the ability to go back and get it. the nice thing that you got to remember is that this is your world to co-create, not a government's, not a given people's. Now, again, guys, if you have a question at all, absolutely ask. Put your questions in the chat room, because the reality is, if you put them in the chat room in all caps, I will do my best to catch them. Okay? I will tell you, part of the reason that we end up cutting back to 2 hours is because of the fact, because of the fact that running the 2 hours solid with virtually no input coming in gets to be a little redundant. This way, I get the information pulled out and go, here you go. I am in the process of documenting this. And again, if you go to the top of the stream, there's a link there to buy me a coffee. Called buymeacoffee.com/innervoicej. All of the books I'm writing, all the information, and my consulting line, all of it is available through there. Now, here's the silly part, and this is where we give a slight tip of the hat. Buy me a coffee. Okay, Storm was kind enough to set it up for me. But here's the thing. Buy me a coffee only charges me a small percentage for what is actually sold. Okay, I've made more for the setup with them than I did in all of the thousands of dollars I spent with professional marketing companies. Okay, so at this point, quite literally, I'm looking at making this, and this is, again, this is all recorded in the Akashic Records. Yes, I am figuring out how to lay it out properly, so I can actually show it to you guys as far as the superstructure goes. But whether this world turns around or doesn't is not up to me. It's not up to the government. It's not up to the leader of whatever religion. Okay? It is up to you. You have the capacity to take a look at your own life, decide what you're not content with, and start altering the pattern. That is your choice. Okay? And pointing the finger at somebody else and saying it's your fault isn't going to work. Doesn't accomplish a whole lot. We've had freezing weather lately in Florida. We get it up here in Canada all the time. You're in Florida? That did say Florida. Okay, operations asking, Keith, how many past lives have you lived that you're aware of? Well, now I'll give you the short answer first. That I have documented this rendition of reality. I think either 18 or 20 that I've actually documented. Okay, and yes, I am in the middle of literally putting them on paper. But if you take a look at the Big Bang Theory, how the universe just started with this pop and there it was, or God went, hey, let there be light, and it was too bright, so he shut off. He's dang, that wasn't good. But if you consider that Big Bang as a flip, which is how I learned to understand it, I have been here. World, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Haven't seen you around for a while. Of course, in all fairness, I think we are at conflicting times. But hopefully things on your stream are going well. But if we consider the Big Bang as a flip, okay, in other words, the length of time of the existence of this universe. Now, understand, Earth itself is approximately 5 billion years old. Okay. Earth is a young planet on this rendition. Okay. And that being said, I was here a billion flips ago. Okay. So I can't even begin to guesstimate the number of lifetimes. But I have documented, I think, 18 or 20 in this lifetime, like in this world. Now, like I say, and we covered that a little earlier, Ferret, but considering the fact that that's what this show is about, accessing your Akashic Records is quite simple. Okay, sit down. Now, find a comfortable place to sit while you are wide awake. Okay, feel for your heartbeat. Don't use your hand to feel the pulse or to feel your wrist. Just concentrate and feel your heartbeat. Then track it out. As you're doing that, feel it reach out as far as you can. Okay, as you track it out, you'll feel a little more disconnected. Your imagination may well kick in. Take it as imagination, absolutely. But let your imagination run. Let yourself see a new lifetime or an old lifetime. Okay, write it down in as much detail as you can get away with. If you want chalk it up to being your imagination, there's no problem there. The imagination is the key to the access your higher senses, including your access to the Akashic Records. Once you've got it written down, now start talking to people about what you remember. Okay. Now, some people will look at you like you're completely off your nut. Okay. My own family looks at me that way half the time. But take it as though it's real. But watch for that one piece of information that derails the whole 9 yards. Oh, thank you so much, LA. And bear in mind, guys, you'll notice LA Moon just put a hot link up to World Bigfoot channel. Okay. My moderators are the only ones, aside from me, authorized to put up a link to somebody else's channel. Okay. Now, I've known World for a very, very long time. Okay. I couldn't begin to tell you how much. But that being said, now what do we got here? Yeah. Here's a neat little kicker there, Ferret. You probably, if this is why I say when you go to do this, sit down when you're wide awake. Okay. If you do this while you're tired, I will virtually guarantee you'll get a great night's sleep because you'll pass out, but you'll be very relaxed. Now I'm just looking, World goes, Keith probably knows that the original D&D orcs had pig faces. Yet with all the gazillion minis now on the market, pig-faced orcs are nearly impossible to get. You found some. Nicely done. Yeah, you had to order them from Poland. This is always nice. Yeah, I'm in the middle. I'm just trying to get installed on my computer. Somebody suggested that I design some of my own. Okay, for some of the writings I'm doing. And yeah, Philip, definitely more than 8 lifetimes. Okay, like I said, I've recorded somewhere between 18 and 20. Okay, and I'm expanding on them and filling in the details. I just discovered one the other day that finally came to light. And this is where that neat little idea, in my case, of, suicide is not a great idea. I committed suicide one lifetime. I took a city with me. Because, well, I was unhappy. But what we have to remember here. Oh, I was going to say, what thing? Anyway, when we start looking at the Akashic Records, you can access them. Okay, most of what you see there, you're going to chalk up to, in all likelihood, your imagination. Okay, but the imagination is the key. Now, here's a neat little piece of info for you. Let me grab it. Now, these books, okay, they've been around for a while. They are only available through me. You may find a rendition of them on eBay right now, but in all fairness, when you order them directly from me, this is Birth of the Wolf Pack. Okay, from me, it ends up in your hand. Okay, signed, a physical copy. To me, there is something special about physical books. Okay, but through this series, I literally cover a lot of this stuff, and this is why I finally got back to writing. 2 years in severe depression causes major problems. Okay, Wu, that is actually something that is definitely brought up a lot. Wu goes, why did you come back to Earth for 18 lifetimes? What is the main purpose? Some say it's a prison planet. Well, let's start with this. I came here before Earth was completed. Okay, I was here before Esau, the planet Earth, what you know as Earth, what you may know as Gaia, Mother Earth, Mother Nature, before she was actually born, I was here. Okay, I met her in her infancy, and I told her I would watch over her. Okay, now I've come back time and again for one primary purpose. That is to remind people from all walks of life, all venues out there, and I mean all of them, okay, that working together, we can make this a better world than virtually everybody else. Okay, that said, okay, when we take a look at that, okay, my purpose was real simple, and it's the same one I carry today. I've tried it multiple times. Not every lifetime I was here. Some lifetimes I was just plain mean. Okay. And I'll tell you, I've spent the last couple lifetimes miserable as heck because I take things kind of personally. Now, the short answer for the actual book, understanding I cannot afford the shipping myself, which is why I add the cost of shipping to the cost of the book. But this book, okay, roughly 400 pages, okay, in your hand, including shipping, is $65 Canadian. Okay, now that puts it in your hand, that's per copy. There's a whole lot that goes with it, but I am worried, like, these are physical ones I've got in stock and will maintain that way. I am not going through another marketing company or manufacturing company that claims that they're going to put these books on the market. Not going to do it. I have spent thousands with people. So what I've done is gone, okay, that's what these are. Now, of course, this, by the way, that's the end of an epic. That's number 2 of the 4th trilogy in the series. These ones are $65 a pop. If we take a look at these, and these are smaller books, obviously, these are the self-help books. That's the backbone of how I changed my world. And again, this is all information that I'm literally pulling out of the Akashic Records on things that work like a charm. Okay, so these ones, this size, are the backbone of how I've changed my life. And these tools I know absolutely will work for you. They are a mind-boggling, staggering $20 Canadian in your hand anywhere in the continental US or Canada. Okay. I don't know about the rest of the world. I got to look into it. Okay. But again, these are a physical book. In case you couldn't tell, I'm holding on to it. And you notice it doesn't levitate on its own. If I let go, it drops. Okay. But the information is drawn off of lifetimes of memories. Okay. Yeah. Ellie goes, we're working on getting a PDF for those who want it. But I agree. I prefer a book in my hands. Okay. And yeah, that is one of the big chores we've got, that Inner Voice Enterprises has to look at this year. We will be doing it because I tell you, relying on the government, relying on other people to make this happen, not going to happen. Okay, I will tell you, literally every time LA Moon or Storm have turned around and told me something, that they were going to do something, without exception, these two have backed it to the hilt. Oh, thank you very much there, LA. We're down to 15 minutes. Okay, now I write in 5 different genres. Science fiction, science fantasy, depending on who you talk to. That'll be this. Okay, then we have self-help, which are these. Then I've also got, and some of you guys have this, actually a fair number of you do. Okay, we've got reference, races of the world. And yeah, I gave up telling people, oh, give me another couple of weeks. Didn't work out that way. I'm not giving you that. I will tell you, we are working on clearing it out. Then we've got this, children's stories, ones that I personally have written. Okay, all of them are available through the Buy Me a Coffee link. And all of this information is being drawn out of the Akashic Records. Again, you simply sit back and relax and let your imagination paint the picture. Once you've got the picture painted, that's when you start looking into it. Look for that one piece of information that derails it. Now, I will tell you, I'm not going to tell you which one. I've got a couple of lifetimes that I look at going, no way, way too mainstream, way too big. So I go, that couldn't possibly be me. Except I keep getting people recognizing me from that lifetime. Okay. Now, I will tell you, I was involved in the gladiatorial uprising that took Rome, that really started the drop in Rome. I did not start that. Okay, I didn't actually start that fight at all. But the answer to your question, to the question there, I will in time be talking about some of the specific lifetimes I've had. Now, here's the kicker for you guys, and I've mentioned this for years. There are certain topics I won't talk about here, but if you want to pick my brain for it, bring me on somebody else's show. I am not going to get myself hung out to dry. I got a slap on the wrist one day by YouTube. See, the neat part about it is I got this warning, and all I did was state my opinion. There are certain topics I don't deal with. One thing I certainly won't be doing is coming on to defend a specific religion, a specific politician. Okay? I won't do it. This is why I don't tell people names of who I do know. Okay? But I am more than willing to come on other people's channels, to come on as a guest. We just have to make sure that we fall into a category I can work with. But drop me a line and we'll see what we can arrange. I'll even show up live. Okay. But we have this neat little problem of finance. So I don't travel a whole lot. Heck, I barely leave my house anymore. Nathan, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And this, people, is Nathan from the Quantum Show. Another one of our moderators. Periodically, I manage to get onto his show. But let's face it, I definitely recommend you drop by and say hi. And now it's on Saturday nights from 7 o'clock to, I think 7 to 8, but I could be mistaken. I think it starts at 7 Pacific. Yeah, I think that's right. LA, if you'd be kind enough to pop up the hours. Oh, there we are. They are up. Yeah, 10%, 10 p.m. Eastern, which is 7 p.m. Pacific. Now, this week, let me just grab it because I want to make sure I give you the right info. I am doing my best to get ahead of the game. So, review there. We have here tomorrow being, what is tomorrow anyway? Tomorrow is Monday. We will be discussing tomorrow the importance of a home for all. In other words, everybody requires a home, a place they can relax. On Tuesday, we're going to be covering death, a different perspective. We're going to look at what is beyond the veil and how you deal with it. Okay. And then we jump all the way to Friday, and we will be dealing with the arrival of the Muldock. Okay, so there is a lot going on. I'm starting to add up one of the shows for down the road. If you have a topic you would like to look at, absolutely drop a note in the chat room, drop me a personal note, text me. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter. Okay, and needless to say, I'm here. Now, I'm pretty certain if you show up on Nathan's show or on SOR, you can also ask the people there. They'll know how to find me. Okay, so we've got a lot going on. This year, as in 2025, I have every intention. Oh, I said the arrival of the Muldock. Okay, now, to give you an idea, two things about the Muldock, and this is just a sneak preview. The Muldock, if you watch the movie Predator, okay, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, they were based on the Muldock. Okay, if you've ever seen the Colosseum-shaped UFOs, those are Muldock. They are a Muldock generation ship. Oh, okay. Will goes show topic: the wars of past ancient civilizations on Earth. And where did I put my pen? Should I bury everything? That's always a brilliant idea. Okay. Pen. As you can see there, well, this is my clipboard. This is how I keep things organized. Just marking it down here. Now, since I don't have a lot that I put in, it won't be that far down. You know, and I will keep you posted. I was supposed to do something the other day. I'll do that as soon as I get off here. Where are we? Put my pen down. Didn't do that. Okay. So we mark this down. There we go. I am eventually going to get myself organized, but I'm still debating how. So, with that in mind, we have a lot of change coming our direction. Okay, there's a lot of things, but again, it boils down to us looking at each other and going, okay, don't care what your skin color is, don't care who you worship, don't care who you crawl into bed with. Every single person is equal. Okay, the laws that we follow on this stream are listed above. And understand, I have become very short with people that are here to make a problem. This is why Storm and LA go, that's a problem, child. We're not dealing with it. Okay, so before anybody comes to the brilliant idea that, oh, Storm's being a bully, think of it this way. Storm evicts the problem children. I run into a problem that I can't deal with, I shut down the stream. It's just that easy. Okay, I've reached that point where I've come close enough to a second stroke. I'm not having another one. But we'll get that on the end of the docket and start posting when we're working on it. But the nice part about it, and yeah, I just noticed that. The nice part about it is we have decided that we're not going anywhere. Okay. Except, well, that's not true. We're going out there. So tell your friends, let your friends know, let your enemies know. I don't care who. Tell everybody it is time to change the world in spite of what the so-called leaders are doing. Okay. I'm giving it back to you. I'm telling you, you've got the ability to change the world around you. And yes, it's all in the Akashic Records. We'll come back to that another day. Oh, Philip, strokes are a royal pain in the neck. Heart attacks are painful. Strokes are a royal annoyance. Okay, I do not recommend them. I did, however, the other day get to blood pressure 220 over 140 with a pulse of 109. That's a little close to a stroke. I managed to bypass it. Never again am I having a stroke. But we are under the 5-minute mark here. And with that in mind, I do want to say thank you so very much for sharing your time with us tonight. Really appreciate it. We will be back again tomorrow, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific. Okay. And I do hope to see you all there along with extra friends. That said, until then, take care of yourselves and each other.